Hey guys, so this is really a direct response to one of my patrons that had a question basically about intros of songs, but it's an arrangements for it was an arrangement for ukulele, and it was Sweet Child of Mine, what I was just playing a second ago, and they were wondering how they could play along with it, and they gave me a list of the chords all the way through that they wanted to play along with it, saying they were borrowing from Cynthia Lynn's arrangement of it. And I know that there are a few arrangements of it in the key of C for ukulele. And so that's just kind of what gave me this idea. I'm going to go over some other intros as well to other songs, but they aren't all necessarily going to be arranged for ukulele. That's the main reason I had that in the description. Hi, Robert. Hi, Jeff. How are you guys doing? What I love about today's live stream is that it already had a thumbs up before I went live. So whoever did that, thank you. That was awesome. But first, we're going to start with the little solo thing from Sweet Child of Mine, but it's going to be arranged to the key of C, because C is a very ukulele friendly key, and it'll go along with those arrangements. Hi, Paula. So so basically, we're just going to learn that little intro and just kind of some of the basics behind the bass line. Now, I haven't gone over it lately. I might not be doing it exactly note for note, but hopefully it'll give you some ideas of things that you can do within the chords. And then we'll go over some intros to some other songs as well. All right. So first, you know how Sweet Child of Mine goes. The guitar part's kind of... And we could go over that tapping arrangement, but that's not quite what I'm talking about, because that's not bass, that's the guitar part. Or in this case, the ukulele part, since we're arranging it. Hey, how's it going? So I'm just going to go over where the bass actually comes in. So first, there's a little bit of a buildup, and it would normally be, all these notes would normally be a half step up from where they are. And really, that's only because the original piece was, everybody was in a half step down tuning on the Guns N' Roses version. And so that puts us in the key of, well, the first chord would be D flat. I guess technically you could argue that you're in G flat, but we'll talk about that later. Oh, thank you, by the way, for the 5,000 subs. I appreciate all you guys for doing that. But anyway, the first chord would be D flat in the original version. So we're going to move it down a half step from there and end up in C, the most friendly ukulele key. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of build up on a C. If you were playing along with the drummer, they'd go, you know, they'd be going bump, 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 bump with you. And you just build up into the solo, little bass solo thing that happens underneath that guitar part. So that's that main intro. All right. So I'll get to the questions here pretty soon, and if I don't get to it while you're still watching, then just look for it later on the replay. But I'll get to that question in a little while. But first, we're going to start on a C note up here, which is going to be the 10th fret on the D string. Then we're going to go to the 9th fret on the G string. Then we're going to play those two notes again. So we got, right? So 10th fret on the D string, 9th fret on the G string twice. Then we've got the 10th fret on the G string, the 12th fret, then the 14th fret, then back to the 12th, then back to the 10th, the 9th, and all of that was on the G string. And then we're going to play the 10th fret on the D string. So we've got... We've got some flickering lights or something. So then after that, we're going to go down to the 8th fret on the D string, then the 10th fret on the G string, and then this time we're going to go to the 8th fret on the D string again, then the 8th fret on the G string, the 7th fret, and then the 8th fret on the D string. So hold on, let me just make sure we've got this right. I think the lights keep flickering for some reason. So after we go, then that's going to be, I'm just going to start from there. 8th fret on the D string, 10th fret on the G string, back to the 8th fret on the D string, then the 8th fret on the G string, then the 7th, then the 8th on the D string, then the same thing again, 8th fret on the G, 7th fret on the G string, then we've got the 8th fret on the D string, then we're going to do the 7th fret on the D string, and then we got the 8th fret on the A string. So that whole part. So I'm not really explaining the rhythm much on this, but if you listen to it a lot, you'll kind of hear that rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And so then after we have that, we're going to slide into the 10th fret on the D string, then the 10th fret on the G string. Okay, so we've got then that slide, and then that's that 10th fret on the D, then the 10th fret on the G. Then we're going to do, which is again the 10th fret on the D string, the 10th fret on the G string again as well, and then the 9th fret on the G string, the 10th fret on the D string, and then, which is the 10th fret on the G string, the 9th fret on the G string, and the 10th fret on the D string. Hey Seth, welcome aboard. You finally made it out to another one. Yeah, so Sweet Child of Mine, I've just always liked that little bass intro. That was one of the coolest things. Not every band had a bass player that would play stuff in the forefront like that, so it's kind of nice hearing a little melodic bass part at the beginning of a song underneath the guitar part, and it just worked really well with the other parts. So yeah, so I actually had a patron ask, and I figured this one, because it's working off of someone else's arrangement, I just decided to throw this into this live stream rather than making a whole separate video. But Patreon members get a request basically, and so this doesn't really count as the request, but I figured it would be like a good one since I'm not doing a full arrangement of it. But honestly, I just realized I could, right? So we can do the guitar part. Yeah, that kind of thing, but not super important to what we're working on today. But yeah, you could do that whole entire thing. So every single fret that I just mentioned, like I said, this is the ukulele arrangement, so it's in the key of C, or rather it starts on a C chord. I guess you could technically say it's in the key of F on this one, but originally it was in the key of D flat. So I'm going to play it one more time slowly just so you can kind of see it. And I'll just say the fret names. You'll have to look closely to see what string I'm on. 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 12, 14, 12, 10, 9, 10, 10, or 8, 10. I can't do this apparently. 8, 8, 7, 8, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8. 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm not sure if that helps a lot, but you can go back in and see which string those were on, and just disregard that one part where I said 10 instead of 8 over there. But hopefully that gives you an idea of the intro. And they mentioned that they wanted to play along with the whole song, and the rest of it, basically, you'd start, if you wanted to keep it really simple, you could just play root notes with the basic drum groove and then kind of add to there to make it sound more like the song. So what I would start doing is just to get the basic groove. So what that is you're just playing a C a bunch of times, 3rd fret on the A string, right? Then B flat, then F. So that B flat's the 1st fret on the A string, and the F is going to be the 1st fret on the E string. Then back to C, 3rd fret on the A string. And then what I do here is, and that's C, G, C, C, F, E, or for those that don't know the letter names, 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the D string, 3rd fret twice, and then on the A string, then 3rd fret on the D string, and then 2nd fret on the D string. And so that may not be exactly like the song, but without the drums there, it kind of gets the feel of the bass drum and the bass. It might be the same thing that he plays, but from there, we've got our root notes of the verse part. So what I like to do then is just kind of add the fills that at least I think are what Duff McKagan played on the original. So arranged for C. So. And this is the part I don't really know, so I'm kind of making up this one. Something like that. It has a little chromatic thing that goes back to C, and I can't quite remember the rhythm on it. But basically what I'm doing first is basically outlining an arpeggio. So I'm playing C, 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 C. Then I'm sliding into the 3rd, which is an E note, 7th fret on the A string. Then I'm hitting the 5th fret on the D string, which is the 5th of the chord. And I'm going back to that 7th fret on the A string. And he may not do that slide. He may actually do the E over here. But I like the sound of that slide, so I'm assuming that he does that, but he may not actually. Okay, so then we go to the B flat. And that little fill, after you've played the B flat, boom, 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 then you're going to go to the 1st fret on the D string, the open D string, then the 1st fret on the A string, and then the open A string. And of course, if we were in a different key, we wouldn't be doing any open strings. We'd just be a fret up from there. Anything that's open, if you wanted to move it to the original key, just add a fret. And if you wanted to be tuned like they are, you'd add 2 frets because they tune a half step down when they played the song or when they recorded it. So, and then on the F, you can kind of get away with just doing stuff. Most of this is just roots, fifths, octaves, and some notes from the scale. So I just looked at that as what I was doing was doing the root of the chord, which is an F chord here, 1st fret on the E string. I slid into the C, the 3rd fret on the A string, and then went up to the 3rd fret on the D string. And I just did something like I hit the octave, the F, so that would be the 3rd fret on the D string 2 times once I got there, and then just kind of walked up the F major scale from the 3rd note of the scale. So that would be open A, 1st fret on the A string, which is that B flat, and then back to the 3rd fret on the A string, which is C. So and that cool little thing there. So that's a good way to get through the verse. You can do other things using the arpeggios, using root, fifth, and octave, and make up your own line. So that might sound like, that kind of thing. That's too busy. Don't do that because that might actually be too busy. But right. Still still do that other part note for note because it locks in with the drums. All right. Oh, cool. Yeah, that Green Day song does have a good intro. I might do that one. I might do that one a little bit later. Although they're also a half step in a different key. I think they're a half step down on that one. Sometimes they're a half step up. So not quite sure, but I might go over that one a little bit later. That is a good intro. Thanks, Seth, for the idea. I was thinking I might go over some Aerosmith too, but basically that's the gist of the verse. So then the chorus is where it kind of changes. And I think the thing there is you can keep it as simple as you want to. It's going to be a G note, 3rd fret on the E string. And I like to walk into the 1st fret on the A string. So it'd be the open A string and then the 1st fret on the A string. Open. Right? And then you end up on, and that's going to be the C 3rd fret on the A string. And then I like even walking back down that 1st fret on the A string, open A string, and then going back to the G when I get there. So I've got walk up. When you go back into the main part, you'll go back into the original verse progression underneath the first few guitar solos, the really mellow guitar solos in the song. And that kind of gives you an idea of that section. And then those 2 sections are the only ones that happen up until we get to the more involved guitar solos later on in the song, toward the end of the song. So when we get there, we end up with this like, and what that is, I would just keep the same groove and play the root notes basically. So if the drum's going bump, bum, bass drum, bump, bum, bump, bum, just keep that kind of rhythm going. But your notes are going to end up being a D in this case. Then you've got a B flat, then an A, then a G, right? Okay, so that's going to be the 5th fret on the A string, then the 6th fret on the E string, or you could do the 1st fret down there, but I'm just going to go here for convenience. So that's going to be the 6th fret on the E string, then the 5th fret, then the 3rd fret, and then I think he hits an F, so the 1st fret on the E string before going back and repeating the pattern. And sometimes I even hit the open E afterwards just as a walk down back into it. So yeah, so that's the basic idea. You just keep kind of walking down. Dun, dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 da. Right? You do that a few times. I think it's 4 times. And then eventually you end up hanging on the G note and just building up there. And then you end up on the other progression. And so this other progression is a little bit different. So I actually like doing this one since we're on an open D. Since we're using the note D, it might be convenient to use the open D. And then we're going to go up to an F, which is the 3rd fret on the D string. Then I'm going to say go up to the open G, although it might be kind of nice to go down low to keep it bass notes. But after that, we're going to do the 3rd fret on the G string, then the 5th fret, and the 3rd fret on the D string before starting over. So you're going to hit each one of those multiple times just to stay in that groove. I do da 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 da. It's like the where do we go? It's like that part, but there's still underneath the solo as well. But that's the only other real progression to the song. And the cool thing about that is if you were in a different key, like let's say you were in D flat, but you had your bass guitar tuned E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. Well, then when you get to that part, you'd actually be able to do that on the open E string instead of doing it on the open D. So you'd get lower notes. But unfortunately, if we're playing along with the ukulele, we'll have to play a little bit higher to get that to work out. Man, y'all are like naming a whole lot of intros over here. Let me just get through this first one. We'll think about the other ones. I know I'll do the Green Day one, but I might wait on some of these other ones. I'm not so sure about that. But yeah. Anyway, I have to know the intros to teach them, I guess. But yeah, there's that whole thing. I get that this isn't just the intro, but I know they were asking what to play, that patron was, so I just decided to go all the way through that song. And then if you wanted to, there's a cool little lick later on that's just like a blues scale descending. And so all that would be in this key would be a D minor blues scale. So 7th fret and 5th fret on the G string, then 7th fret, 6th fret, and 5th fret on the D string, then the 3rd fret and open still on the D string. Right, so you get the idea. So that's about it for that one. So we've got all these different bass intros. So that's it for that. Before I get to the next one, I'm going to answer the question that was asked earlier about bass strings. So 7 Curitan Thin Beard reviews. Cool. Okay, so they ask best U-bass strings to help with fret buzz and best acoustic volume. So I don't think you get the same thing out of all strings unless you're considering going with the metal strings. If you were going to go with metal strings, I would say that for best projection, you would probably get a louder projection out of the metal round wound strings. Those would probably be the loudest. And the second loudest would be the other metal strings, the flat wound strings, which I think reduce the string noise about as good as any other string. So I would recommend the Golly flat wounds. And I just haven't tried the other. I know there's another company that now makes flat wounds. I just haven't tried those yet. So I would do the Golly/Kala brand flat wounds. They work together on those. Excuse me. And then for that would work for less string noise and pretty good projection. The ones that project the best are going to be the round wound strings. Those are just the Kala round wound strings, and maybe other brands as well. But definitely the Kalas out of the ones that I have project the loudest. As far as rubber strings that might have a little less fret buzz and string noise and all sorts of stuff like that, I've heard that the Thunder Reds, the Aquila Thunder Reds, actually have a little bit less string noise. Although when I hear them, it's not a super drastic amount. It's just a little bit less. So to me, the flat wounds are probably, if you wanted one string that's kind of the best of both worlds, it's not quite the loudest projecting, but it's louder than the rubber, and it has less string noise than the round wounds. I would go with the flat wound strings. So hopefully that answers your question. And now I will jump back in. All right. So Navik says, I love the round wounds on my Journeyman. And yeah, and same about, I'm intrigued by the Thunder Reds as well. I would like to try them out and see if they really make that drastic of a difference or not. I might put those on this one. I might put those on the Wanderer at some point. So if you see the strings change color, I'll probably do a video on that when I decide to do that. I'm not sure how soon it'll be. It just kind of depends on some things. Okay, so back to bass intros. I'm not positive that I remember Longview entirely correctly, but we're going to do it in the key of E. We're going to do it in a U-bass friendly key, but you'd probably have to tune down a half step to get it in the key that it was on the recording. So you're going to kind of hit the open A string hammer on to the 7th fret of the A string. And then you're going to hit the 9th fret on the D string, then the 7th fret, then the 6th fret. Then you're going to do the open A string, hammer on to the D string, then the 7th fret on the D string, then the 6th fret on the D string, and then you've got the 5th fret on the A string, and then the 4th fret on the D string. Let me make sure I didn't miss any repeats of notes. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I'm just going to recap. Open, hammer on to 7 on the A string, 9th fret, 7th fret, 6th fret on the D string, then open, hammer on to the 5th fret of the A string, then 7 and 6th fret on the D string, 5th fret on the A string, and 4th fret on the D string. And then after that, you're just going to jump to the 7th fret on the A string. And then you're going to do the 9th fret, 7th fret, and 6th fret on the D string. And this part's fun. I don't know if you hit the open string with each one or if you just hit it with the first one. But I feel like you hit it with all three. And that's going to be the open D string along with hitting the 9th fret, 7th fret, 6th fret, then 7th fret on the G string. And I'm plucking both of those, but he actually uses a pick, so he'd just be going like with a pick instead of a fingernail or instead of plucking. And yes, Jake, I do recommend what Navix underneath you is recommending the Hadean, or I think it's Hadean or something. Hadean, that's what it was. Hadean. Finally found someone that did a pronunciation video. So the Hadeans are pretty good options. And I believe they're somewhere around the $150 US mark if you're in the United States. But if you're not in the United States, I don't know what they charge for shipping, and I don't know any of that stuff. But the Hadeans are pretty darn good. I think they're pretty comparable to the Wanderer. The pickup's different, but they sound quality wise about as good as the Wanderer. They're pretty close. And Kala does have some cheaper models now. The cheaper model, I still haven't figured out the difference between the cheaper model and this one. So they might be exactly the same. It might be that they just replaced this one. But they have one called the Nomad, and this is the Wanderer. So it's like virtually the same name, a synonym to the name. And the only difference that I've noticed about it is the strings are black instead of these Thunder Guts. So I think they're the Thunder Blacks possibly, but I'm not positive on that. But I believe that one runs you like $200. I'm not sure if they have anything less than that. Seth, if you know of any that are cheaper than that, let me know. But that was the cheapest one I saw, and it's essentially the same as this. I had a student that got that bass, and I don't think we ever found a difference between them. Hey, Michael, how's it going? So Michael over here was the guy that shared the fix about cutting apart the saddle. I don't know why I can't remember what things are called, but cutting apart the saddle to fix the volume differences on there. I'm not sure if he came up with the idea or if he found it on TalkBass or something. I think he mentioned that, but he made a really descriptive written out thing on the U-bass Freaks Facebook group that made it really clear on what to do to fix that issue. So thanks, Michael, for that. Appreciate that. And yeah, and so that's helped a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people on YouTube that have been here have tried that, and I haven't heard of anyone not having success with them. So thank you for that. Okay, so we were in the middle of I think that was pretty much all we went over, right? So that's the intro to that song. There's like another section that's not really the intro that's kind of fun. That's really cool. Yeah, so it's called U-bass Freaks. like U-bass, one word, no dash, and then the word freaks. Yeah. There you go. So thanks for sharing it, Michael. Yeah. So if you search that on Facebook, you should find the group and add yourself to it, because there's a lot of cool people on there that you can chat with about that. Michael being one of them. And I post on there periodically. Sometimes I post last minute that I'm about to do a live stream, and people get mad at me for not posting it sooner. But other times it's it works. But I try to post on there periodically and answer questions and stuff, in addition to sharing my videos on there. All right, so someone got a Hadeen, threw some rounds on it. Very cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is a really fun bass line. So that's all like minor pentatonic stuff for the most part. Every now and then they do a walk down that's just in the minor scale. But that would be a good intro to go over. So why not? Let's go over that one. Open E string, then you go up the octave to the 2nd fret on the D string, then open D string. And you might have learned it a different way. I know some people play it. Actually, that has more bass tone to it. We might want to learn it up there instead. But there are 2 ways to play it. An easy way, using open strings down here, is going to be open, go up the octave to the 2nd fret of the D string, open D string, 2nd fret on the A string, open D string, 2nd fret on the A string, open A string, 3rd fret on the E string, right? And then, so in this time we go open E string, 2nd fret on the D string, open D string, 2nd fret on the A string, open D string, 2nd fret on the D string, and open G string. So far we've got right, and then we repeat the first half of that, and then almost the exact same thing. We just add a 2nd fret, which is an F sharp note. That's the only note that's not really in the pentatonic scale so far, on the E string. And then that's that first half. And so then the next time we do pretty much the exact same thing. We just do a little trill from the G to the open G string to the 2nd fret on the G string. And I just like to go open to open, but I almost get the feeling like they do a really quick double where it's open to, and it's a hammer on, like hammer on, open, hammer on. I'm not sure if the bass really does more than that. It might just go right. So let's see. So that's what I would do, is just open, hammer on to the 2nd fret, and then pull off to the open G string. And so you do 2 of them. Yeah, so if you can do it fast enough, you can add a 2nd one in there. It's just really quick, right? But right, and then that's the other time. And so that's the intro. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of Rage Against the Machine stuff that's really cool. But yeah, it's really quick to get that right. So you may just want to do the simpler version just to make it easier if you're a beginner, or if you're just new to hammer-ons and pull-offs, because it's just a real quick motion to the finger to be able to do that twice to get that little trill kind of sound going on. But yeah, it's a great intro. Thanks for suggesting that one. The other one I wanted to go over was Sweet Emotion. And oh, cool. Yeah, Yes has a lot of cool stuff. I mean, that's technically a bass intro for a bass solo, but I tried doing that one with a loop pedal on a full scale electric bass because you just need more frets to really do all that stuff on the Fish. But yeah, we can do some, there's some slap intros we could do too, but I'll get there in a second. Let's do Sweet Emotion first. So you've got the open A string twice, then you play the 12th fret on the G string, then 2 A strings after it, kind of quicker. Then the 14th fret after that on the G string, and then 2 A strings that are, I think, a little slower there. Yeah, so open A's, 12th fret on the G string, 2 open A's, 14th fret, and then 2 more A's. Then we're going to go 12 on the D string, 2 A's, 2 open A strings, and then the 11th fret on the D string. And then you just start over. So that's kind of a cool string skipping exercise because you have to go from that open A string up to the G string and back and forth pretty quickly. So it really involves, if you're doing it with the fingers instead of a pick or something, you really have to like bring both fingers down each time in order to do all that. Someone is calling me, but it's a 1-800 number, so I'll just let it go. All right, so many different things to go over. Wow. So I don't know all the intros to all these songs. Believe it or not, I haven't come across every single one of them. But yeah, so that was Sweet Emotion. And as you can notice, when you're doing songs like this, if you're going to be staying up here exclusively and you notice that the strings, the intonation is off up here, one thing that you could do is just like, they sharp or flat, first of all. They're sharp. So what I would do is probably tune the G string down just a tiny bit so that G actually matches what a G is supposed to be, and tune it to that note instead of tuning it to the open string if I'm only playing the intro and just having fun with it. Just so those notes aren't so out of tune, because this note up here is supposed to be an A. You could also tune to that note and just like play that note and check your tuner and get that A in tune rather than sharp. So yeah, it's way sharp. It's almost it's like a quarter step sharp. So you could like lower it down. Oh, For Whom the Bell Tolls is a good one. I don't think we have quite enough frets. I think we're just shy of having enough frets for Whom the Bell Tolls, but that's one of my favorites. I like Metallica a lot. So that's still sharp. So the intonation's just off on my Wanderer specifically. It's a little bit sharp still, but check it out. It's going to sound a little bit better. It's closer. If you have perfect pitch, you're probably still cringing, but it's a little bit closer, even though the open G string was flat. All right, so yeah, yeah, we would need a few more frets. So I don't think we can do For Whom the Bell Tolls there. Yeah, perfect pitch is one of those things that I think there have been studies that show that you can develop it at a really young age, but after you get over a certain age, it's virtually, I don't want to say it's completely impossible because I don't know, but it's extraordinarily difficult, if not completely impossible, to develop perfect pitch after a certain age. But what you can do is develop relative pitch, which means if I hear a C, boom, I can figure out like what a G is from that, just from knowing the interval in my head. I can go bum, bum, right? Or I could go, let's say I wanted to do a D, bum, right? So I can figure out what notes are based off of that first note, using my ear, and get good at that. And then theoretically, if you can memorize one note, you can do relative pitch off of that one note and call it perfect pitch. But people with like legitimate perfect pitch, they hear the note and immediately know what it is. You know, they know if it's barely sharp or barely flat. And I probably wouldn't know if it was really slightly off. So, yeah, but I have noticed that like occasionally if I sing like nursery rhymes and then check what key I sang them in, that sometimes I can get the tune, the first pitch completely correct because I have that memorized from when I was little, right? So if I could remember one of those well enough to do relative pitch off of that, it would be perfect relative pitch, meaning that you don't really have quite as good of a memory of the pitch as people with perfect pitch, but it's close enough to where it works. So Peyton says, I'm a sax player and B flat and A are the easiest. Right, the tuning notes. So like if you're used to being in an orchestra, they're always going to tune to A. So you're going to hear that so much that you'll eventually do that. And if you're in a band setting, most people will give you a B flat to tune, right? Usually. So that explains it. And for a lot of people that learn the fixed do system, they learn that C was do if you're singing do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? Then you might have that memorized and be able to do relative pitch off of that. It's not a necessary component to being able to play, but it certainly helps if you're like lost in a song, if you can listen to other people and know where they are and be able to know relatively what they're doing, which I do it by like thinking the number system based off of what key they're in. So I don't have to know the specific note. If I know that we're playing in the key of B flat, I don't need to know that it's actually a B flat that someone's playing, you know, because I already know based on that information was given to me before we started the song or whatever. But I can figure out what note I should be on if I get lost in a piece and I'm jamming with some people or whatnot. Or if I hear someone do something, you know, and they play a certain lick, I can usually recognize what that pattern is and kind of like visualize it and know how to play it and respond to them that way. And sax players, I know you have to do that without a visualized pattern. You do that from the auditory version, but you might have the finger patterns memorized. So cool, very cool. So sorry, I was getting off on a tangent, but yes, perfect pitch is hard if it's not impossible to really develop truly. There's a whole lot of Rick Beato videos on that, and he believes that you can develop perfect pitch at a young age, like before you're 5 or something like that, and then after that, it's really hard to do that. Oh, the intro to Teen Town, the intro, or like the bass, the where the bass line kicks in. Because like that intro, the whole da 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 da. What was it? I have to do it here. Wish I could do it up the octave, but up here it would be really hard to do. Let's see. Right, now I have to do this part down, I guess. What I just do? So I'm not doing it in the right place. So it's C, A, and F. I can't remember. Anyway. But if you mean that, where the bass comes in. Right? That's a lot. Okay. So I keep hearing slap, Louis or Luis. I'm not sure which pronunciation, but either way, he wants me to slap. So why don't we go back to intros and do the intro to Higher Ground, the Red Hot Chili Peppers version, not the Stevie Wonder version, but right. So we've got that. You could play it quicker. right? But yeah, that one's really cool, and I think I'm actually gonna get to play that at a gig, hopefully. It's on the set list, but we might get to do it or not. But basically, what you do there, the main thing is when you're slapping. I always say this when slapping because I had wished someone told me that when I first started learning. But the secret to not muting the string and getting it to really ring out is don't think of it as your thumb going into the string like that. Think of it as your thumb. You're trying to stop your thumb right here, but the momentum of how quickly you're moving is going to make your thumb hit and bounce really quickly on its own. Right? Right? So then you're hitting 2 open E's. Then you're popping the 2nd fret on the D string. So that's just an octave. And then you're hitting the open E string again. Right? And then you're going to go to the 3rd fret on the E string. You're going to hit 2 of them and pop the 5th fret on the D string. And then you're going to hit 2 5th frets on the E string. So it's... Yeah, you're going to hit 2 of them, 2 5th fret on the E string, and then pop the 7th fret on the D string. And with the rubber strings, popping doesn't really sound quite as good. It almost just sounds like a rubber band slapping the strings because that's essentially what's going on. But the slap sounds pretty good. Yeah, so once again with the tapping stuff. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Michael. As far as stuff like with tapping, do you saying tapping should sound better on which? I'm not sure how you'd throw tapping into higher ground, but if you're just talking about tapping on the U-bass. I mean, yeah, tapping's fun. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to do like Jerry was a race car driver, but I don't think I have enough frets for that. So I might have to, let's see. I pick a different key. I didn't really pick the same key apparently. But you get the idea. But yeah, you're talking about a whole bunch of things there. So, so with tapping, you mean knocking when slap? Are you saying instead of popping the note like that, doing something? I'm not sure what you mean by knocking. Which one? The Jerry was a race car driver? I'd have to do that probably on the full scale electric bass because I kind of did both hands in the wrong key and I can't really remember what key it's in because it's so dissonant. I never think about it. Oh, just the tapping thing? So what I'm doing there is basically, actually, I think slapping on here is easier as long as you get that bounce. And then to pop, you have to pop lighter because if you pop too hard, it'll, sound like garbage, really. Like it'll just, actually doesn't sound that bad, but it usually buzzes a little bit on certain ones. So you don't really have to pop very hard at all. And then the slapping, the secret is just pretend like you're stopping your thumb here, and the force will just pull it into the string. And it's like if you leave it loose rather than tight. So just don't have your thumb like flexed, have it loose. And then when you go to stop it, like I'm trying to stop my thumb here, but you notice it goes past there and then comes back. It doesn't actually stop there. It actually goes through and then comes back. And you can tell that here, like I'm going to stop my thumb right here. But it's like, if you put enough force behind it, your thumb's not going to stop. It'll just return there. But that's the secret, because if you go into it, it just won't work very well. Yeah, so I'll do the tap riff. I was just answering the question while it was relevant on the slap stuff. So the tap riff, basically what I'm doing is just an arpeggio. So I'm doing a major arpeggio. So if I'm on the G string, I'm going to have the open G, the B, which is the 4th fret, the D, which is the 7th fret, and then I have the 12th fret to tap here on on the same string, G string. And I'm using the right hand to tap the 12th. So what I'm doing here is I'm tapping the 12th fret, pulling off to open, hammering on to 4, hammering on to 7, tapping again at 12, and then doing all pull-offs, pulling off to 7, pulling off to 4, pulling off to open. So tap, arpeggio, hammer on, tap, pull off, pull off, pull off. So it's like tap, pull off, arpeggio, hammer-ons, tap, pull off, pull off, pull off. Right? So that's all that's going on there. Nothing crazy about it. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It just sounds cool when you get the timing right. But you gotta get them evenly spaced. So I think starting slow is really important. But yeah, it's amazing how it's really not that hard. You just have to be precise with your hammer-ons as well. If you're not precise and you get some buzz, you also get some buzz on the A string and the E string anyway. Because it's almost like it doesn't matter how accurate you are on tapping it. There's still always going to be like just a tiny bit of buzz on there. I gotta remember how the drum fill goes. I mean, he might use his thumb. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think what he's doing there is just he's just doing power chords here. And he might be going. I just thought it was bam, 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 very. It sounds very abrasive, like it's all down strums, but I just realized you could go like this. All that stuff. So that's just power chords. So you're playing the 2nd fret on the A string, 4th fret on the D string, 4th fret on the G string, all at the same time, and then scooting all those up 1 fret, scooting them up 1 fret again, right? And then I think he's just doing 0, 1, 2, 3. I picked this out probably like 10 years ago, so I may have the intervals a little bit wrong. So you may want to double check it with some sheet music, because I think I picked that one out by ear. So it might be a little inaccurate just because I did it so long ago. So we are on the same topic, because actually we're doing bass intros, and this still applies as a bass intro. So if people name a song that happens to be a bass intro, John the Fisherman is actually a Primus song, and it starts with everybody doing this riff, including the bass. So yes, actually we are, believe it or not, still on topic. What about ukulele? Yeah, these aren't arrangements for ukulele anymore. The only one that I really had that was an arrangement for ukulele was the way we were doing Sweet Child of Mine. So basically the reason I did that one in the key of C, but all these other ones are really just kind of their own intro. That was really just for that one song. I can't really think of too many other ones that are arranged from ukulele. But yeah, I mean, ukulele is cool. I think I have mine right here. It's been a little neglected lately because I've been playing a lot of bass gigs. So I've been playing more bass. It's probably out of tune. But yeah, you could argue, since we're strumming on the John the Fisherman thing, you could argue that that ties it over to ukulele because you use a strumming technique. This is the most fun part of the live stream. Oh wow, the A string was in tune. Huh. Weird. Yep, so like the easiest 4 chords, C major, just do the 3rd fret on the, gosh, I'm going to call them bass strings if I don't watch out. I haven't played it so long. It's the A string on here. And then you're just gonna play the 3rd fret. The other strings are open. Just strum however you want to strum. The G chord looks like a D chord on guitar, but what you would do is you would do the 2nd fret on the 1st string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, open 4th string. That's a G chord. And then if you wanted to do an F chord, you do the open 1st string, 1st fret on the 2nd string, open 3rd string, and 2nd fret on the 4th string. I'm just going to call them that so I don't mix them up and start saying bass string names, because otherwise I might accidentally do that since I haven't taught ukulele in a long time. So, yeah, so then you got that. That's F. And then A minor is a really easy one. You just play 2nd fret on actually the G string here, which is the 4th string. Yeah, I mean, I could get that like G, C, E, A. I just know that at some point I'll accidentally say G string when I mean A string on here, or I'll do E string instead of G string, which this is the G. So it's just kind of yeah. Normally I can do it, but I don't think my brain will fire fast enough. So we'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 being the string down here. 2, 3, 4. Okay. But that just makes it easier for you guys to follow as well. Because then you don't have to think about which string it is either. You can just think about, you know, building up from here. But yeah, that's the basic idea for ukulele. So when people do the you know, you get the idea. I can't do it right now, apparently, off of not trying in a while. But that's how they do the Sweet Child of Mine. So that's kind of the idea of the arrangement that we're pulling from when we did that intro at the beginning of this. But yeah, back to U-bass. Yeah, it's really bright on there, isn't it? Adventure Time. Oh, okay. It's just those 3 chords. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things like that it's just 3 or 4 chords. Jason Mraz, I'm Yours, C, G, A minor, F. You might be able to have fun. I have a video on here somewhere called Island Strum Bass Lines. And so the island strum is a very common strum pattern that ukulele players do. And it's just been dubbed island strum. I mean, guitar players did it before this, but like down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So you strum down, then you miss on your way up. So down, miss, down, up, miss, up, down, up. But you end up with down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Yeah, so if you wanted to play any of those songs that are 1s, 5s, 6, 4 with an ukulele player that plays primarily that strum pattern, you've got a whole lot of options, right? You can do the arpeggios with that rhythm, or you can do that'll work with it. And you can also do the country line. Boom, boom, boom. So you've got a whole lot of options with that if you want to change the style of it. But a lot of ukulele songs are C, G, A minor, and F. And, you know, you can do a lot more with it, but you can play so many songs if you just convert them all to the key of C. And so that's kind of an idea. So if you want to make up a bass intro, you just have to know your C major scale and which notes work with which chords. And you could kind of make up an intro. That's another option instead of just playing intros that already exist. But we were trying to go for some other intros. I don't know very many that have bass intros that are arranged for ukulele. I guess another one could be Stand By Me. So Stand By Me, they might do using those 4 chords instead of doing it in the key of A. So instead of doing, we may want to convert this into C major. Or we could even play it down low. So the two ways to play that, you could play 5th fret on the G string 2 times, then 5th fret on the D string, 4th fret on the G string, 5th fret on the G string twice again. So we got, and then you play it again, 5th, 4th, 2nd on the G string still. Then you could play either the open G string, or I'm going to avoid the open strings right now and do 5th fret on the D string. So we've got, so let me just say the fret names: 5, 5, then on the D string, 5, 4 on the G string, 5, 5 still on the G string, 5, 4, 2, 2, and then you got 5th fret on the D string, and then 2nd fret on the G string, and then you hit it again. So it's gonna be 2nd fret on the G string, 5th fret on the D string, 4th fret on the D string still. Then did I say 4th fret? I mean 3rd fret. So 2nd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret 2 times, then 3rd fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the G string, 5th fret on the D string twice, and then kind of like the beginning, a 3rd time 5th fret on the D string, 4th fret on the G string, and 5th fret on the G string, and then you're kind of back to the beginning. And then the thing down here is just taking all those notes down the octave. I'm using the open A here just because it's not necessary about moving it around and everything. Yeah, it is pretty amazing how time flies, isn't it? It's already been an hour. So yeah, when you're learning a whole bunch of different things and we jump around from topic to topic, there's a whole lot to talk about. But that's how you do Stand By Me. And if I wanted to slap it, I mean, you could theoretically. I don't think it would sound great, but you could slap the lower octave especially. Yeah, so you could slap it. You could even add some pops in between. So you could add that and have a little percussive version. That sounds kind of cool, but it kind of loses the vibe of the song a little bit when you do that. But yeah, so you can pretty much slap anything. The answer would probably be not to do it in most contexts, because if you slapped everything, you'd probably get fired from a gig if you were a professional bass player, because that's just not the sound they want, right? If they wanted that sound, they'd ask you to do it. But I know Marcus Miller does some really cool versions of songs where he slaps the melodies to songs, which is pretty cool. And he's actually done a version of Teen Town where he slaps every note in Teen Town, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty crazy. I think he literally slaps them all. I don't think he pops them. I don't think he is, but he might. Yeah. I can't do it. For some reason, slapping makes me forget the notes. But yeah, I think he did a version where he slaps pretty much every note in Teen Town. So if you are a big fan of slap, look up Marcus Miller Teen Town, and that's just insane how much he does on that. And it sounds good when he does it. It sounds better on a full scale one rather than a U-bass. But yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm playing it much slower because I can't do it like. I can't do that quickly slapped, but Marcus Miller can, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so does anybody have any other intros that they think would be kind of cool to go over? If I know it, we can go over it. And if not, I'd have to wait and be able to do that on a future one probably. But did I miss any? Let's see. I'm just going to scroll up and see if there were any. I mean, I've already done a lot of these. Like another one bites the dust would be a good one, you know. And I guess that's the Vanilla Ice one, the Under Pressure versions. So that one's really easy because it's just the 7th fret on the G string and the 7th fret on the D string. And then the Vanilla Ice version has an extra pickup note on the 7th fret of the G string. Yep, super exciting stuff. And then another one bites the dust, of course. 5-3 open, open, open. 0-0-0-3, 0-5. I'm gonna say O instead of open just because it's so fast. I think I already did Money as well. So there's other videos. I think I did 5 intros in 5 minutes, and that video has some of those in there. But yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit. So I guess the only ones that we're really applying to the ukulele idea is Stand By Me and Sweet Child of Mine, because you could play both of those in C, and there are ukulele arrangements where people have already done that with those. So those would be a good place to start. Isn't Running with the Devil like one note? I can't remember. Isn't it just like boom, boom? I'd have to hear it again, but I feel like it just hits an open string. But I don't remember for sure. Adding a little 12th fret slide. Yeah, that's kind of fun. There's a lot of things like that. Was that the point, Seth? Just doing that? Was it like open A or something? Boom, boom, boom. I can't remember. Yeah. So that one's kind of tricky. Yeah. You play a 3rd fret on the E string. And then you're doing a lot of hammer-ons from the open D string, the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. And then you have a 3rd fret on the G string in there sometimes. So G, well, yeah, that's one I've practiced. Some of these I've actually practiced playing and singing. That one I'm not very good at, but I've tried it before. It's kind of fun. And the secret here is getting this like, what was it? I think it's like you slap and then you strum up and then you strum down. So slap, up, down, slap, up, down, slap, up, down, up. And then you throw those hammer-ons in between. I could always do Muse or Tool. Whoops, I messed it up. But yeah, the Muse one, Hysteria, is really good. Yeah, so that one's pretty cool. So that one's a lot of, you want to get really good at playing on one string. And it's 0-0-10, 0-10, 12, 0-10, 0-7. And then you got 8-8, 7-5, 7, and this is all on the A string. I think I left out one open, so 0-0-10, 0-0-10, 0-10, 12, 0-10, 0-7, 0-8, 8, 7, 5, 7, and that's all on the A string. That's going to be open E twice, 10, O, 10, 12, O, and then you got the 10th fret on the A string. So O, O, 10, O, 10, 12, O on the E string, 10th on the A string, 12th fret on the E string, and I left out an open string in between there. But yeah, Seinfeld I've already done, so I'm just not gonna do too much on that. We got that, but it's all opens, 10s, and 12s there. O, O, 10, O, 10, 12, O, 10 on the A string, open E string, then a 12th fret on the E string, then an open E string, then 2 10s, then an open E string, then 10, 12. I may have missed one of the notes in there. So O, O, 10, O, 10, 12, O, 10, open 12, open 10, 10, open 10, 12. And all the opens were E strings, regardless if the other ones were on the A string. And then you have the D string part. And that's O, O, 10, O, 10, 12, O, 10, O, 10, 9, O, 9, 8, O, 8, 7. So I may have left out one. O, O, 10, O, 10, 12, O, 10, O, 10, 9, O, 9, 8, O, 8, 7. I left out one of the 10s over here. Yeah, so it's got some cool stuff there. I forgot that part. What does it do when it gets back there? I just played it like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, that's the Muse song Hysteria. So that one's really cool. Something like that. For good times. So that's E, 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 F. I actually don't know that version of Joy to the World. I'd have to listen to the 3 Dog Night version to know that one. But yeah, we could do Good Times real quick. And I know Seth said Muse or Tool. He didn't say Muse and Tool. We could always do or. Yeah, so those are fun, but I think you can find those anywhere on the internet. Just look for the bass tab. But yeah, Good Times you can also find everywhere. But basically, if you know your Dorian mode, it's just walking up E Dorian. E, 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 F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, then open A string. And you got, and that's going to be the, I think that's it. Yeah, so that's open A, and then you go back and forth between the F sharp down here, 4th fret on the D string, then the open A, then 5th fret, which is the G note, then back to open A, and then back to the 4th fret on the D string, and then the little is going to be B, A, G, or 2nd fret open on the A string, and then G, 3rd fret on the E string. I think something like that. All right, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I actually don't know that whole entire intro to NIB. I just start on the other one. So I'm trying to remember how that was. Oh, I have to be in drop D. So I'm trying to do it up higher just to avoid having to tune down to drop D. Yeah, that's a good one though. A good tool suggestion. Nice job on the typing, getting that AE, whatever you call the when you combine the A and the E. It's awesome. But yeah, that one's a good song. It was really cool getting to see them play it live. I actually got to go to the Tool show in January, back when shows were a thing, when rock shows were a thing. So that was really cool. But yeah. So Geezer Butler and Black Sabbath, I guess I could do. Right. So I mean, that one's pretty easy. 7 7 5 7 on the A string, then 5 4 on the D string, 7 7 5 7 again on the A string. So I already forgot it. Got to make sure not to bend it too far. These rubber strings go a little bit further. So that's going to be 7 7 5 7 on the A string. And then now we're going to end up bending. It's hard to bend on the U-bass. So I'm using multiple fingers, and when it rolls, I have to just kind of roll with it, because sometimes the string will actually just turn and my fingertip will end up on a different part of it. So it's a little bit harder to bend in tune, which is why I'm ending up overbending or underbending. So you could just do a kind of like slide from the 7th fret to the 8th fret in the back. Yeah, but you get the idea. 7 7 5 7 5 4 on the D string, 7 7 5 7 on the A string, and then you got 7 bend up a little bit, back to 7, and that's just you don't hit it again. You just bend it up and bend it down, and then 5, and then you do again, which is that first one, 7 7 5 7. 5 on the D string, 4 on the D string, and then 7 7 5 7, and then this time we go to the E string, 5 7 hammer on, 5 7 hammer on the A string, and then the 5th fret on the D string. Right, 5 hammer on a 7, 5 hammer on a 7, 5. Cool. Oh, and you're talking about some Iron Maiden kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot of like the intros from any of the songs, but that's pretty cool too. All right, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of bass intros that are kind of fun. I don't know anybody that's done a ukulele version of any of those songs, but maybe they're out there. Yeah, I don't know the specifics of the Ace of Spades line. I don't feel like it's super crazy, but that's the idea. All right, well, Navix, thanks for hanging out. And by the way, guys, I think that's about going to wrap it up for me too, because we've been on here for an hour and almost 20 minutes. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on your way out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And it's kind of fun having requests shouted at me, and getting ones that I actually know. So I appreciate y'all shouting ones at me that I know. But thank you for hanging out. And if I didn't know it, I'll probably check it out afterwards. So Jeff, I'll have to give that. Was it 3 Dog Night that you said earlier? Yeah, 3 Dog Night intro. I'll have to check out that version of that song, because I haven't heard that one either. And Seth, Robert, Jeff, Brosian, all you guys, thanks for hanging out. Navix, everybody. And I will see you guys on the next live stream, and also a video next Tuesday. All right, take care.